Arman and I met in 1968 and moved into this building in 1985. We brought some of these objects with us into this apartment. There was at one point about 17 different collections. One object in particular, which is very dear to me, is a necklace, an African art necklace. And why it's so dear to me is because we had our first child, and we had decided that we would move, so we were able to amass $10 to see about moving into looking for a different place. And one day Arman came home and said, "Honey, we're not moving anymore." And I said, "Why?" Because the $10 we had saved went to buy this African art piece. It was my husband who brought me to African art. I knew about fashion a great deal, but he taught me about African art, and from there it just snowballed. We would go to the different galleries and auctions to buy works, and because of course there's nothing left in Africa, you know, it all left so many years ago. The furniture is Arman because he used the musical instruments a great deal in his work. He kept the cases that they came in and decided to make furniture out of them. We love living with beautiful things, and it's eclectic, and we learn that things do blend well together. The Japanese art works very well with the African art, and it's a high level of each different culture, which makes it very special. That's why they blend well together, because of I think the quality. The first two Warhol portraits of me were made in 1977. Arman and Andy had decided to do this, and they were the first portraits that Andy had ever made below the shoulders. You can see the texture, you can see the paint strokes, and really quite beautiful. Two paintings are hanging at a different place on this wall over here. Andy looked at them and said to me, "Corice, you need an update." Arman and I commissioned him to do Arman's portraits, which are also hanging there, and it's Arman who put all of the portraits together, so it looks like one big painting. I created a home where it was warm and comfortable, and Arman created the rest of it. The fact that we collaborated, I mean, c'est de soi, we just do it. There wasn't anything like, well, I take the left side and you take the east side. He was very much involved. He enjoyed making our home something very special. And he didn't like so much having his own works hanging around in the house. Whenever there were works of his, it was because I insisted that I wanted his works in our living room as well. I love to entertain, to cook dinner, and our dinners were called the Arman and Corice Salon because people really enjoyed coming. For me, a successful dinner is when people leave exchanging their names and numbers and cards, and and contacting each other afterwards. And for me, that's really great. In Paris, we were together and we met the owner of a foundry, bronze foundry. And I remember Arman telling him, "I would love to do these works in bronze so that they can just be independent and stand on their own, and I'm not too sure how to do that." So this started the whole collaboration with Régis Bocquel. Interactives are the sculptures that have the hinges on them. When they're closed, you have your typical classical sculptures, and when you open them, you interact with them, it becomes an Arman. You can have a different piece every day when you want, depending on how much you pull it apart and how much you close it, like an accordion, if you will. He did a series of paintings called Homage to Van Gogh. He made the painting with paintbrushes, and he got the swirl of the Starry Night and all that out of these very rigid objects, and I think it's just so beautiful. Always listened to music when he worked, always listened to music. I would go out sometimes and come home and he was still working, and I could hear the music blasting in the street. He loved saying, how many things he was able to accomplish in a day, and it was mesmerizing. I couldn't keep up with him. He really lived to work.